must also be treated as a separate population.
How do we get them to prepare and to pay attention? They're cell phone carriers now.
Focusing on the varying populations is the goal of this year's preparedness campaign. That's according to the Ohio EMA director, Seema Merrick. The Cleveland Guardians lost yesterday to the Cardinals. The Browns fell to the New York Giants. I'm Pam Cook on 1480 WHBC.
Now, your local weather forecast. Stick with us. News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Here's a look at your AccuWeather forecast. Going to be cloudy in general with a couple brief showers around at times today, getting to 74 degrees. Then tonight we're cloudy still at 62. And then tomorrow we're expecting showers and even heavy thunderstorms that could also bring some damaging winds and isolated tornadoes, so you want to be weather aware. High for tomorrow, 74. And then Wednesday's cloudy with a couple showers around 75 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jeff Nordine for News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Is your place for news and what's going on in our community.
One of the things I like about the radio is that when you hear people talk, it makes you listen, it makes you think, and you don't get caught up in all the background or whatever, all the noise, I guess, that's out there. It's just listening to people and listening to what they have to say, and especially in this election this year, I think it's going to be more important than ever just to listen to what the candidates and the speakers have to say.
1480 WHBC.
Live from the WHBC Broadcast Center. Find out more about area businesses, agencies, and events.
It's what's going on right now.
This is Spotlight.
And good morning, everyone, and welcome to this Monday edition of Spotlight here on 1480 WHBC. Don't forget, you can watch us live right now on Facebook. We would love it if you would do that. And also, of course, here on the radio, and you'll be able to check it out on our Facebook page anytime. And today we have a very special guest with us from Direction Home. It is Jessica Bader. She is the Director of Business Development. Hi, Jessica.
Hi. Hey, Pam. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Glad to have you on today. And I am very excited to learn more about Direction Home today. So before we start, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into this kind of work.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to do that. I am so excited to be here with you this morning and just share a little bit about Direction Home and all the great work that we do out in the community and stuff like that. But my name is Jessica Bader. I am the Director of Business Development at Direction Home. I actually have been hanging around Direction Home for about 12 years, coming right up on 12 years here in a couple of months. So I started out at Direction Home as an intern through the University of Akron's social work program in the Elder Rights Department as an ombudsman. And doing that, I had a ton of opportunities to get some good experience and insight into it, like that department. What does an ombudsman do? And really then pushing that out into what does Direction Home do as an agency at large. And I really fell in love with just kind of everything Direction Home had going on. So I finished out my internship and later was then presented with an opportunity to come back on board with Direction Home and participate in a really, really cool program that was going on at the time called Home Choice. So Home Choice was a program that assisted individuals who were living in a nursing facility to transition back into the community. And so we would work alongside discharge planners from nursing facilities, along with many community partners, and really put together a good plan for folks to get out of the nursing home, back into the community, which is where they really wanted to be, and loved doing that work. Had a lot of, again, great experiences there in that clinical role, which was awesome. But Home Choice actually was a state-funded program, and it had an end date. So it had a sunset. And so then from there, I transitioned to another role in what we call our performance improvement and development team. And in that role, I did a ton of work with quality improvement, really got kind of my, took my hand or gave streamlining processes like quality improvement, implementing Lean and Six Sigma methodologies, project management, kind of all that jazz. Did that for a long time, and then now just newly in the director of business development role. So there you go. That's the play-by-play of how Jess arrived at Direction Home to now.
That's great, though. I mean, and when someone would say Direction Home, and there is like a bigger, longer name.
There is. Yeah, there is. So let me tell you, it's Direction Home, Akron Canton Area Agency on Aging and Disabilities. So Direction Home Akron Canton is a name we commonly go by. Direction Home, just Direction Home is good. But yeah, there is that longer name, because we do want to make sure that we're including all the people that we love to serve, which are the older adults and folks with disabilities as well. So good catch there, Pam.
Yeah, and I think because it's, people wonder, well, what is it? What are you trying to do here? But I know there's just so much. After looking at your website, there's a lot for sure.
Yeah.
So let's, what is your main mission? When you talk about Direction Home?
Yeah. So Direction Home, so Akron Canton Area Agency on Aging and Disabilities, we provide older adults and people with disabilities and their caregivers long-term choices and consumer protection so that they can achieve the highest quality of life. So how do we do that? How does that kind of play out? Well, we really want to be the central access point and preferred long-term care management organization for all older adults and people with disabilities. So we're a private nonprofit organization, again, helping older adults and folks with disabilities live independently in the place we want to call home. And we really take that last piece there as our anchor. We know that over the years and decades of doing this work, that people really do want to remain in the homes that they've been in, for years and years and decades and decades. And so our goal is to help them do that for as long as possible, safely, of course. And that's much of our role, is to do a lot of coordinating of care, case management, so that we can help prop people up so they can stay where they want to be. And then when the time comes, if it comes that they need to transition to a different sort of setting, we are happy to help them do that, again, in a safe way. But yeah, we really like to keep people living independently in the place that they want to call home.
Yeah. And I think for people who are interested in that and their caregivers, want to help too, they don't really know where to go or where to turn. There are people going, who do I call for help?
Yeah. So we are in the business of helping people. That is for sure. That is kind of our heartbeat. So we would say you are welcome to. So anybody is welcome to. That's an older adult, somebody with a disability, a family member, a friend, a neighbor, caregiver. You are welcome to call us at into our Aging, Disability, and Resource Center. That is really our front door for folks who maybe just have a question. If you are in a situation where you think maybe, mom might needs a little bit of extra help in the home, where do I start with that? Maybe you're just exploring some options and you need to kind of start putting some feelers out there or having some real conversations around what does it look like to provide supportive care for people in their home or their condo or wherever they might be. And so our Aging, Disability, and Resource Center really helps to prop up that conversation. They're amazing people in there. They are extremely knowledgeable as far as the community resources go and just everything that you would need to know in order to really start to lay the groundwork for helping your older adult or person in need. So give the ADRC a call if you have any questions. That's what I would say.
Yeah. And once they give that call, then, what's the process? Do they, I'm sure there's a, way for them to go.
Yes. So that's a really excellent question. So what would happen is if you, thought, I could probably use some insight. I have some questions. I need a little bit of a consultation, so to speak. We would invite you to call the Aging, Disability, and Resource Center. Again, our front door. They would be happy to help you. They are going to answer questions that you have, kind of get a feel for where you're at right now. And then if necessary, what we're able to do is offer an in-home assessment. So these in-home assessments are free. Our assessment team members would come out to the home and have an in-person conversation with you about your loved one or, again, friend, neighbor, whoever, and really would get a better in-person picture of, what does the environment look like in your home? What sorts of abilities do you have? What is the level of care that might be required at this time? And so they're really able to have, more of that need conversation with folks and put together, again, a full assessment of what services might be needed. And then from there, they're able to make some recommendations for various programs and services, waivers, or what have you that are available. So of course, everybody's different. So there isn't like a one size fits all. That's why the home assessment is important, is so that we can really make sure that what you're getting or what we're kind of suggesting is very person-centered and will meet the needs of that individual specifically.
What's the biggest question people have, do you think, when they call in?
Oh, I don't know if there's one biggest question.
A lot of questions.
Yeah, this is probably a question for my friends up in the ADRC, but I think a lot of it is just where to begin. I think a lot of folks sometimes kind of don't really realize that they're going to need some support or going to need some sort of, collateral information until they're kind of in that make or break situation, right? So your mom, I'm just going to use mom for example, your mom's been doing fine at home for years. And everything's going along just swimmingly. And then mom takes a spill and maybe falls. And so things from there kind of start to unravel a little bit. And you're sitting there saying, oh my gosh, every 3 months ago, everything was fine. Now I'm kind of in this situation where I need to start pulling in some other resources. What in the world am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to begin? So I think that's probably one of the primary questions that team gets asked, is just like, I find myself now currently in a situation where I need help. Where do I start? And they're absolutely experts at answering that question.
Okay, that's good to know. And the website is dhad.org.
Yep, www.dhad.org. And yes, all that great information can be found on the website. Absolutely. And I will just also put in a plug too, that if you would like to reach out to our ADRC and you don't have time for a phone call, but you'd like to still have somebody maybe reach out to you, you can, of course, go to the website. So www.dhad.org. /refer, and a referral form will come up, and you can just simply fill in your information there. And one of our folks in the ADRC would be happy to follow up with you, answer any questions you have. So that's just another avenue for you to reach out to the team if you had some questions and you didn't have enough time to give us a buzz. www.dhad.org/refer.
Very good. Very good. All right. We're going to take our first break. And when we come back, we'll talk more about the foundation and the goals and all of those kinds of things. And with Jessica Bader of Direction Home, it is Spotlight right here on 1480 WHBC.
High school sports. This is the right place. News Talk 1480, WHBC.
Sherrod Brown says,
I'll work with anyone to protect Ohio.
But what Sherrod Brown does in D.C. has not protected Ohio women and children. Brown voted multiple times to allow transgender biological males to compete in girls' sports. Not only unfair, but risking injury to female athletes. Brown even introduced legislation to allow transgender biological men into girls' locker rooms. And Brown would allow puberty blockers, even sex change surgery for children. Worse, Brown introduced a law to force women's domestic violence shelters to accept transgender biological men, inflicting more trauma on abused women. So when Brown says,
I'll work with anyone to protect Ohio,
Sherrod Brown is not protecting Ohio women and children. In fact, he's endangering them. Ohio deserves better. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Why is an annual flu shot important? Each year, the flu is responsible for more than 200,000 hospitalizations in the U.S. alone. And the CDC estimates that up to 14,000 deaths were caused by the flu last season. Protect yourself and your loved ones with a convenient, quick, safe vaccination at Discount Drug Mart. Drug Mart takes walk-ins, no appointment necessary, and most insurance plans are accepted with zero copay for Medicare, Medicaid, and most private plans. Discount Drug Mart is your immunization destination.
JT here, and if you're like me and grew up in Canton, you grew up with Sugardale brand meats. From hot dogs to bacon, simply the best. A local company in Stark County doing business the right way for over 100 years. Committed to making high-quality products, a fan favorite, and a perfect match for your next tailgate. In fact, Sugardale hot dogs are an official partner and official hot dog of the Cleveland Guardians. Sugardale, a Stark County tradition.
If apartment shopping is on your to-do list, then log into DeVilleAPTS.com and see the award-winning DeVille communities all around Stark County. As the place to be, DeVille offers a wide range of layouts, amenities, and locations. See all the places to be at DeVilleAPTS.com. DeVilleAPTS.com.
DeVille Apartments. DeVille is the place to be. DeVille Apartments.
Everyone should be thinking about aging.
We could all be one really bad health episode away from being at risk. A health condition worsening steadily over time, or even dramatically in a short amount of time. And all of a sudden, you have trouble taking a bath. You have trouble getting up and down your family stairs. That can happen to anybody fairly quickly.
The mission of Direction Home is to provide choices for people to live independently in the place they want to call home. Direction Home Akron Canton is a one-stop shop for information, assistance, and answers on aging for anyone who's looking for help. It could be folks that are looking for help for a parent, for themselves, for a spouse, for a neighbor, for anyone who's interested in aging well in the community. They should be giving Direction Home Akron Canton a call.
Call our resource center at 877-770-5558.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Time is up. The IRS is in full collection mode for 2024, issuing liens, levies, and garnishments to anyone who has a past tax debt or unfiled tax returns. Don't wait till it's too late. Your paycheck and bank accounts are at risk of being seized. Call now and stop the collection process today. If you're living check to check, no matter how much you're making, you still may qualify for the Fresh Start programs offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. It's just a 5-minute call to get your options, and it's free. If you owe back taxes, have years of unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to sleep better, business or personal, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief while there's still time. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and tough. This veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. The call is free. Call their hotline number now, 800-652-1714. That's 800-652-1714. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-652-1714 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary. Paid for by AMD Financial.
Now back to Spotlight on 1480 WHBC.
And welcome back to Spotlight on News Talk 1480 WHBC. We have been talking about Direction Home with Jessica Bader, who is the Director of Business Development. And as we said, the longer name is Direction Home Akron Canton, Area Agency on Aging and Disabilities. It's important to mention that because it encompasses a lot. It really does. And as we also mentioned, www.dhad.org is the website. And if you go to the website, you'll see much of the things that they help folks with. And, we were talking about all of the different questions that people might have. And, you know, one of the things mentioned on the website is elder rights. And I think that people probably, that's another thing that people don't even really think about too much. I have rights.
Yeah, yeah.
What would that mean?
Yeah, yeah. Elder rights is definitely super important, and it's a huge part of what we do at Direction Home. We have our elder rights department, and that division is where our ombudsman program is housed. And we do actually cover Akron Canton area, so Summit, Stark, Portage, and Wayne counties, along with another satellite office that is in Dover. So all the way down even and through a little bit of Southern Ohio there as well. And the elder rights team does a fantastic job of advocating for those individuals who are in care in a long-term care setting, to make sure that they are, getting what they need and that their resident rights are being upheld within the facility. So an ombudsman is available to any folks who are out in the community and are, in a facility. And if you have a question, if you have a concern, if you're a family member who has a concern, they do, regular visits to the nursing facilities. And if you are in one, you may know your assigned ombudsman. We have them in all the facilities across the area. And again, they do a fantastic job advocating for the residents in there. And then also making sure that those residents' rights are upheld as they're living in the facilities.
And, it's interesting when you were mentioning about the things that you had done on your journey to being with Direction Home. You had mentioned about going from the nursing home back home. I don't think people ever really envisioned that happening.
Yeah, that was that specific program was a really a great example of what the possibilities could be, right? So again, that program was called Home Choice, and unfortunately it did have a sunset date, and it's not as predominant as it was. I would recommend you ask your a social worker at your facility if you are in there now and that's something that interests you. But yeah, just because somebody goes to a skilled nursing facility, that does not mean that's your last stop. Many people go in there for rehabilitation, and folks are able to kind of get the help that they need, get themselves a little bit stronger, and then really progress to the point that they are able then to transition back into the community. And so then what does that look like? Well, that looks like a lot of hard work on their part and a lot of planning from a lot of people. And so what Direction Home does really the best, in my opinion, of course, is works with a comprehensive network of providers to put those services and support in place, kind of craft a plan together, a service plan for that person, so that when they do go back to their home in the community, that they, of course, have what they need in order to be successful. So just because you go to a nursing home or that you find yourself in there for some short-term rehabilitation, definitely, stay positive, and you are absolutely able to return home, safely. Of course, we want to make sure everybody's doing that, but we're here to help facilitate that as best we can, to make sure that, again, people are living independently in the place that they want to call home. Sometimes people choose to go to facilities because they need that extra support, that 24-hour care, and that's awesome that we have that resource. But you also, of course, have the option to stay in the community as well.
So how can people, become part of Direction Home, if they would like to volunteer or those kinds of things?
Yeah. So we welcome volunteers, specifically in our ombudsman program. Absolutely would love for folks to reach out. Again, you can go to our website and get all that contact information there. You can give us a call. And we will be happy to give you some information on how to become a volunteer ombudsman. We have individuals who are really act kind of as a friendly visitor, but are also there on a mission to make sure that we're, again, advocating for individuals that were in the facilities. And our leader of the Elder Rights Division would say being there means better care. And what we intend to do is just make sure that, we have eyes on everything, and not in necessarily a punitive way or whatever. But when you're in the room, you really get a sense of, what is the level of care that's happening at this facility? How can we come alongside the facility and alongside the residents resident and the resident's family to make sure that these individuals are continuing to get the care that they need, that they're continuing to get the rehabilitation services that they need, and that they are able to, again, continue to progress to the point to where, if they are able to go back home, that's great. And our volunteers are very instrumental in making that happen day in and day out. Being there does mean better care, but we need lots of people in order to be there as much as is required. So if you are interested, I shared my story a little bit. I did start out as an intern in our Elder Rights Division as an ombudsman, and it was honestly an excellent experience. And it was oddly enough, I had a very positive experience. You meet wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people. The residents in these nursing homes, they are amazing. They have amazing stories. Their lives have in many times have been so full of experiences with their own families, with their own careers, and the opportunity really to kind of go in there, as I said, on a mission to help them, but then also to get to know them and get to know a little bit more about who they are as people. It'll fill your own cup too. So I highly recommend you reach out.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It'll make you feel better. And plus it makes them feel better, to have someone and
absolutely
that comes in and they get a sense of caring, that somebody's actually caring what's happening to them and sits down and listens to them for,
it's interesting. One of our big things is, even so in the facility and in the community, we want to make sure that people are not being isolated, socially isolated in any way. And you'd be surprised that even in a facility, how often folks can feel that sense of isolation. But having a friendly face come in, say hello, it really turns around the entire scenario and it eliminates that feeling of aloneness that I'm sure we all can relate to at some point in our lives. So it's absolutely super, super important, and we're happy to do it.
All right. We have to take a break for the news right now. And when we come back, we will talk more about Direction Home. And we'll have Jessica Bader with us on Spotlight right here on 1480 WHBC.
WHBC AM Canton, reliable as ever on News Talk 1480 WHBC.
From the News Talk 1480 WHBC newsroom, a sports hero had a warm welcome home and was awarded a great honor from the city of Perrysburg, Ohio. The Chamber of Commerce there and the Perrysburg Alumni Association awarded Jim Leland a key to the city. The Perrysburg native, of course, managed Major League Baseball teams like the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Detroit Tigers. He was recently inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. 4 people were killed and at least 17 others injured during that mass shooting late Saturday night in Birmingham, Alabama. At a press conference yesterday, police say they don't believe the shooting was a random event. They say authorities believe the shooter had a hit on someone paying money to have someone else killed. The 4 deaths brought the number of homicides in Birmingham this year to 122. They say those who were injured were just caught in the crossfire. The Cleveland Guardians lost to the Cardinals 2-1 yesterday. They have today off, and then they'll host the Reds Tuesday and Wednesday, finish up the regular season at home against Houston. The Cleveland Browns had a rough injury-filled day against the New York Giants, losing 21-15. They now head to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders next week. Rest of the AFC North, Pittsburgh moves to 3-0 after beating the Chargers. Baltimore held on to down Dallas, and Cincinnati plays on Monday Night Football tonight. I'm Pam Cook.
Your severe weather station, News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Here's your AccuWeather forecast. Going to be expecting a cloudy day in general with a brief shower or two at times. Temperature getting to 74 degrees. Then we're cloudy overnight at 62. For tomorrow, we're tracking heavier thunderstorms that could bring flooding downpours, damaging winds, and even isolated tornadoes with a high of 74. You can always track the latest severe weather by downloading our free AccuWeather app or check the latest at AccuWeather.com. I'm meteorologist Jeff Nordine for News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Everyone should be thinking about aging.
we could all be one really bad health episode away from being at risk. A health condition worsening steadily over time, or even dramatically in a short amount of time. And all of a sudden, you have trouble taking a bath. You have trouble getting up and down your family stairs. That can happen to anybody fairly quickly.
The mission of Direction Home is to provide choices for people to live independently in the place they want to call home. Direction Home Akron Canton is a one-stop shop for information, assistance, and answers on aging for anyone who's looking for help. It could be folks that are looking for help for a parent, for themselves, for a spouse, for a neighbor, for anyone who's interested in aging well in the community. They should be giving Direction Home Akron Canton a call.
Call our resource center at 877-770-5558.
At SARTA, we ride with Tom. Tom's son is Ben, with disabilities, not disadvantages. Fully independent for a full life.
I have a son, Ben Casey. Ben just turned 26 years old, and without SARTA, he would never be able to get to work. With Ben being able to take the Pro line, he's independent and able to get to work without me needing to do anything. We're lucky to have it, and I hope people really appreciate it.
At SARTA, we ride together. Visit SARTAonline.com.
Hello, it's Craig Sanders from Progressive Chevrolet in Massillon. Listen to this Progressive Power Buy.
Through Saturday only, lease a new 2025 Chevy Trax RS, only $119 a month. Or buy a new Chevy Trax RS and save $3,000 off MSRP with a 2015 or newer Chevy trade-in. And we have new 2024 Chevy Trailblazer LTs, leased for only $139 a month. These Progressive Power Buys will save you big money, but they're only good through Saturday. Here they are one more time. Lease a new 2025 Chevy Trax RS, only $119 a month. Or buy and get $3,000 off MSRP with a 2015 or newer Chevy trade-in. And a new 2024 Chevy Trailblazer LT, lease for $139 a month. Together, let's drive.
Shop Progressive Chevrolet in Massillon.
Call 833-853-3094 for offer details. Stock number C25-062-069 and C24-449. MSRP $24,980, $26,190, and $25,990. Offers end 9/30/24.
Purchase a twin tank water softener from Ferndale Water Experts and you'll get $250 off, a free reverse osmosis drinking water system, and 0% financing. Call Ferndale Water Experts.
Tap into Ferndale's Water Center.
Now back to Spotlight on 1480 WHBC.
And this is Spotlight on 1480 WHBC. Don't forget, we are live on Facebook right now, and you'll be able to find the video on Facebook. It'll live there forever, so to speak, and you can check it out later on if you want to do that. And we've been talking about Direction Home, and this has been such a wonderful conversation because I know there are a lot of people out there who could use this, obviously, and but really don't know a whole lot about it. And Jessica Bader is the Director of Business Development. She is with us today. And Jessica, talk about how maybe this, the mission for you guys has really maybe evolved over the years. I'm sure it's become probably more complicated. I don't know if that's the word, but how has it changed for you guys?
Yeah, well, the scope of what we do, our core services will remain what, that is being the go-to resource for people in the community to call and get help for folks that want to live independently in the place that they want to call home. We want to make sure that we're providing people with disabilities, older adults, long-term care choices and consumer protection so that they can achieve their highest quality of life. That's kind of been our mission from the beginning, but certainly as time has gone on over the last 40 years that we've been an organization, that mission has stayed consistent, but then continued to grow as our community has grown itself, has changed and evolved over time. So we want to make sure that we are not just reaching out to the people who do qualify for those more state-funded or, government-funded programs, I guess. We want to make sure that as we continue to move forward, that we're offering or able to present services that are available to everybody. And so one of the ways that we do that advocacy and we really start to beat that drum is through our foundation. So the Direction Home Direction Home Aging and Disabilities, Direction Home Akron Canton Aging and Disabilities does have a foundation. And a fun fact is that you may not know, but by the year 2030, about 30% of, I'll say, folks in Summit County, I think this is a Summit County statistic, will be over the age of 60. And so then it's kind of astonishing when you think about it, and really put some skin on that. Having done this work for a while, we know that we really want to be prepared, and we know how important it is to be ready to help when that time comes, because, I think somebody called it a silver tsunami at one point, but our general population is just kind of getting a little bit older, and we'll continue to do that. So we do have a foundation. The foundation was developed in 1999, and we believe that all older adults, as I've mentioned, regardless of income, deserve to achieve their long-term goals, long-term care goals. So we assist in part through what we call a care coordination program, as well as through our dedicated advocacy for public policy change. And we use the foundation we leverage the foundation to be able to do that advocacy, to be able to provide those services for as many folks as we can in that gap area.
And that's where donations might come in if people want to help, correct?
Yeah, certainly. We are welcome donations, as everybody I'm sure does. But yeah, we welcome donations, and you can engage with our foundation in a number of different ways. So one of the ways that we raise funds is through our annual foundation raffle. So each year, the foundation raffle, we raise right about $100,000, actually a little bit more than that. And 100% of the proceeds go towards advocacy efforts that are geared towards influencing public policy for the betterment of those in our lives who are older adults or those folks with disabilities. It's a really, really fun thing. We purchase prizes with points that we have earned over the course of the year. And of course, through generous donations from our community partners, other community organizations that we link arms with on a regular basis. I mentioned it's super fun. Past prizes have included an all-inclusive 7-day trip to an exotic location, home theater packages, Visa gift cards, spa packages, and more. So you're welcome to make a donation. It is 100% tax deductible, or you can engage with our annual foundation raffle. And you can visit our website for more information about that. But that is definitely an easy and very fun way to get plugged in and become a part of the great work that's going on here at Direction Home.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. That'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
And when, I'm thinking of people also, there are some older folks out there who are pretty much alone. They never had kids, or, and their spouse passes away, and, there they are alone. I would imagine this is a perfect place for them to come to try and figure out what their steps are, or how they can get help, that kind of thing.
Yes, absolutely. Again, we would encourage anybody and everyone to give us a call. So one of the things I mentioned, social isolation a little bit earlier, and a really cool program that we have had going on here as a result of the pandemic, I think, but really just dialing in a little bit more on how can we make sure that folks who are in their homes, we want them to stay there if they want to, but we also know that accessibility is an issue, and they may not be able to get out and go visit, do things as easily as they had before. And that does drive that social isolation feeling. But what we have is a digital inclusion program that allows folks from Direction Home to connect with individuals in the community. And we have offered in the past tablets. We have different digital resources that allow folks in their home to, have access to their families or the outside world, I guess, without actually leaving their house. And so we've given out a number of these devices, and really just, one of the primary drivers for doing that is to address the social isolation. And, it helps to provide a link not just to family and friends, but to Direction Home and to other community resources as well. You would be surprised how many older adults love to get on social media too and kind of mess around a little bit on there. And that's like something fun for them to do. Again, they want to be around their friends and family, and a lot of times folks exist in those environments as well. So the digital inclusion program has been really great. And so that is just one example of a way when we're trying to, offer supplemental services to folks who are in their home and maybe can't get out as easily as they had before.
And did I see something on the website about meals?
Oh yes. So meals. Yes, we do meals, a ton of meals. So we work very closely again with a ton of community partners to facilitate and create plans for folks to get meals in their homes. Specifically in Summit County, we have a program going on right now, Aging in Place program, where we are able to offer meals to folks in their home, along with maybe some home modification, and then also that digital inclusion as well. A lot of people have food insecurities. We are good friends with the Akron Canton Food Bank and work with them very closely as well to deliver, boxed meals to folks' home. And then, of course, with our meal provider network, to make sure that people are getting the nutrition that they need and people are getting the meals that they need delivered to them at their home, which is, yes, definitely a huge service that we help coordinate and that we would, work with our community partners to offer. Lots of people love those meals for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, and sometimes that's a safer thing too. If somebody's at home and they can get the meals like that rather than trying to cook a bunch of stuff,
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, it's, it saves you a trip to the grocery store. Some of these meals come like hot meals. You can get hot meals, you can get frozen meals. Again, those boxed food boxes from the food bank that some folks are able to receive. That's super helpful as well. And so, yeah, it's not necessarily just making sure that folks are getting like one nutritious meal a day, but it definitely addresses and encompasses all those other little things that we know go into making sure that you've got food in the home and that you're eating good foods.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the website, www.dhad.org.
Mm-hmm.
All of the things that we've been talking about so far this morning are on the website. There's a lot of information there. And you mentioned also there's a place there to sign up.
Yeah. So it's just a very basic referral form, essentially. So we have talked extensively about our Aging, Disability, and Resource Center, which is our front door. It's like our call center, basically. But if you don't have time to call, or if you feel more comfortable, you're welcome to visit our website at www.dhad.org/refer. And you can fill out a simple form. I think there's just 5 or 6 questions there asking for your name and just some general information. One of our teammates will give you a buzz back or reach out to you via email, however you kind of prefer to do that. And we can definitely start that conversation or answer any questions that you have. That is exactly why we're here. And we want to make sure that we're ready, willing, and able and available to help you with whatever you need. So definitely visit the website or give us a call for sure.
All right, we're going to take our final break and we'll come back. We'll talk more about Direction Home. And Jessica Bitter, the Director of Business Development, will be with us. And stay tuned. It is Spotlight right here on 1480 WHBC.
Your place for news and what's going on in our community.
To see the difference, WHBC's making and the difference of in the lives of kids and families. It's just spectacular to be a part of.
1480 WHBC.
Everyone should be thinking about aging.
We could all be one really bad health episode away from being at risk. A health condition worsening steadily over time, or even dramatically in a short amount of time. And all of a sudden, you have trouble taking a bath. You have trouble getting up and down your family stairs. That can happen to anybody fairly quickly.
The mission of Direction Home is to provide choices for people to live independently in the place they want to call home. Direction Home Akron Canton is a one-stop shop for information, assistance, and answers on aging for anyone who's looking for help. It could be folks that are looking for help for a parent, for themselves, for a spouse, for a neighbor, for anyone who's interested in aging well in the community. They should be giving Direction Home Akron Canton a call.
Call our resource center at 877-770-5558.
Sweet chocolate reward. Sweet chocolate reward.
This is not just the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat at Walgreens. This is the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat right after receiving all their vaccines in one trip. This is the sound of treating yourself, because you protected yourself.
Stop by or schedule both your flu and COVID-19 vaccines today and grab yourself a sweet treat while you're at it. Vaccine subject to availability. State, age, and health-related restrictions may apply.
Are you ready to accelerate towards your dreams with a new car, ATV, boat, or some extra cash for personal needs? This is Tiffany Kim, Banking Center Manager at the Commercial and Savings Bank, here to help you fund your next adventure. Our team of experts is committed to finding the right solution for you with competitive rates, flexible terms, and personalized service. Visit csb1.com to apply online or give us a call at 800-654-9015 to speak with a loan specialist and discover the CSB Advantage. The Commercial and Savings Bank, member FDIC.
Because my mind is fading, I realize I can't make the decisions I did when I was younger. I don't remember how to handle my money. I can't remember which medications my doctor told me to take. So I have a guardian, so I can continue to live independently as long as I can.
This is Judge Dixie Park. Our guardians are in need of volunteers to help check on the most vulnerable residents in our area, those who are unable to care for themselves due to physical or mental disabilities. As a court angel, you will visit adult wards at nursing homes, group homes, and private residences. You will check in with the guardians in their wards, reporting on the care being provided, and noting any requests that will enhance the ward's health and welfare.
Court Angels assist the guardians in probate court. Your recommendations can provide greater comfort and care to those not fully capable of caring for themselves. What a wonderful service you will be providing. For information on how you can become a Court Angel volunteer, contact the Stark County Probate Court.
Electrifying our future.
Bartley Electric is your electrical IBEW installation professionals for home theater, media center remodeling, and domestic AC/DC generators. Bartley Electric, our patrons never switch, is our mission. Contact Bartley Electric at 330-456-0053. Bartley Electric, an IBEW NECA contractor.
Electrifying our future.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Hey, Donald Trump Jr. here. Central banks are buying gold at record amounts, and the trend is accelerating in 2024. They see the writing on the wall. The dollar is failing. Is gold the answer for you too? To find out, get a free info kit from Birch Gold Group by texting the word SHELTER to 989898. That's SHELTER to the number 989898 to get your free info kit from Birch Gold, the only gold company I trust right now.
Message and data rates.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first time Nana moments.
And welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Now back to Spotlight on 1480 WHBC.
All right, our final segment of Spotlight on this Monday morning. We are talking about Direction Home with Jessica Vader, the Director of Business Development. And we've had so much information to share, and I hope everybody takes a look at the website because there's a lot of information there. And if you're curious or wondering about all the different things they do, that's the perfect place to go. But let's talk a little bit more about the foundation, Jessica, and the conference and award ceremony. Fill me in on that.
Yeah. So I'm super glad you asked about the foundation specifically. I mentioned just a little bit ago that it was developed in 1999, and we really believe that all older adults, regardless of income, deserve to achieve their long-term care goals, right? That's what we've been talking about this morning, and how we kind of meet that need in our community. So you might be interested to know that in Ohio, 77 of our 88 counties have senior service levies to aid in expanding services to older adults. However, none of the 4 counties that Direction Home Akron Canton serves, so that would be Portage, Stark, Summit, and Wayne counties, none of those benefit from the funding of a senior service levy. Now, we hope that someday that might change, but to kind of meet that need that really isn't being met right now, a large percentage of the foundation's funds do go directly towards advocacy for older adults and their well-being, including those senior service levy efforts. So our mission at the foundation is really to enable older adults not eligible for government assistance to remain independent and secure at their home through access to a range of supported services. So we talked a little bit earlier about our foundation raffle, which is awesome. It's super fun. I would highly recommend you guys getting plugged in there if you feel so led to do so. Another way that we kind of generate some funds and offer the community some needed information and guidance is through our annual conference. And this is a great time that we share knowledge, we share service information with other healthcare professionals in our area. Caregivers, older adults, care managers, public policy influencers all kind of get plugged in. And the conference really features these speakers as experts in their field. It's a day of networking, mission sharing, and education. Now, I will tell you that we did have our conference in August. And so you missed it just barely this year, but I am not ashamed to put a plug in for 2025. So please keep that on your radar. We welcome sponsorships for that conference is another way for us to kind of lock arms with the community, generate some of those funds, and also give back that education piece that is super, super valuable so that everybody kind of stays on the same page with, where we're at in the landscape of older adults. The other thing that we have coming up is our awards ceremony. And this is a super, super special time. I love this. Over the years. It's like, my heart, again, your cup gets filled with this particular event. But every year, Direction Home Akron Canton honors those who represent what's best in our community, especially in this field of aging. The Senior Hall of Fame, we honor home health aides for our Home Health Aid Hall of Fame, and Direction Home Akron Canton Area Agency on Aging and Disabilities Harvey L. Stearns Lifetime Achievement Award is presented, and the Volunteer Ombudsman of Distinction Award is presented to recipients to acknowledge, their efforts to support older adults and individuals with disabilities. We talked a bunch about that a little bit earlier in the show. The award ceremony is held every year and is attended by friends and family and loved ones of those being honored, as well as community leaders and professionals as well. And again, another great opportunity for us to partner with our sister organizations in the community, people that we work with all the time through sponsorships and giving to really put a spotlight on those people who are the boots on the ground. They're the people who are in the home. They're the folks who, your loved one is going to see and look forward to coming over, who's the hands-on helpers. And, as Mr. Rogers says, always look for the helpers. And so this is like a specific carved out time when we really want to make sure we're saying thank you, that we're giving honor and respect to those who are caring for some of our most vulnerable people in the community. And it's a very, very special time. So if you're out there and you want to partner with us through a sponsorship of our award ceremony, we would be happy to give you all that information and fill you in on the details of that. But it's a very special, special time for our organization and for the community.
All right. So the website is www.dhad.org. And Jessica, thank you so much for coming on today. A lot of great information shared this morning.
Yes. Thank you so much for having us and having me. And it's been a pleasure to hang out with you a little bit, Pam.
Yes. Good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted a walk-up with central air and a skylight, and you found it. Now, every Friday night, you get to fall asleep